Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. My name is, of course, Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram. Today, my Marvel Legends reviews continue with this Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure wave, and we are looking at Malekith. Now, of course, this is the second Avengers Infinity War wave of the year, and they had two comic book characters. We just reviewed Black Knight yesterday, and this is, of course, Malekith, the last Build-A-Figure piece I need before we get to reviewing the Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure, which is very exciting. Now, I wasn't massively excited for Malekith, I'm not going to lie. It is a reissue of a figure that came out last year in that San Diego Comic-Con Asgardian box set that I never got. Now, this figure is a little bit different to that one. There are some slight variations. I don't have it to compare, but I'll try and get into that as we go along. He also comes with a nice weapon as well on the side, so will be interesting. He's very much a character part of that Thor Asgardian lore. So yeah, let's have a look. On the side we get a picture of Malekith from the comics. On the back we get a little write-up, the Dark Elves himself, and then of course we get a list of all the figures in the wave we need to complete the Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure. Today we are reviewing Malekith. So yeah, there we go. As I said, the Dark Elf. Let's get into it. Pow, and here we have Malekith out of the box, and he does pop, to be fair, against this white background. Very strong colours, red with the blue skin, obviously he's a dark elf after all, and then that hilarious blonde hair that just looks like he's wearing some sort of wig to disguise his boldness. Just makes me laugh a little bit. But yeah, I didn't have the previous version. This seems to be a skirt piece that's attached to the belt, and the belt has two separate pieces, one with some pouches on, and the other one has the skirt piece on it. This top bit is a separate piece as well, which I never noticed before. So I'm guessing if you pop his head off, you might be able to take his armour off, which there you go. So you can pop his head off and take the armour off if you'd prefer. But to be fair, it sits on there very nicely. And that blonde hair is just making me laugh. It's about give him a microphone, he's going to burst into some 80s rock. But yeah, no interchangeable hands, so we get two gripping hands, and that is, of course, to hold his sword. Now, I don't know if this sword has a particular name, but it has got like some nice detail. Well, not detail, but an interesting sort of shape, shall we say. So, yeah, maybe that's some sort of comic sword that I should know about, but I'm unaware of. I know he got his powers from some sort of wizard. That's why he's a bit mystical. But no, he looks all right, to be fair. As I said, I wasn't massively excited to get this figure, but just putting him on the table, just opening him up. Yeah, he looks all right. Now, he comes with a sword, no other pieces for himself, but he does come with two Build-A-Figure pieces, which was the hammer, which I didn't even notice was in the box. It was basically behind the packaging in the box. This is Cull Obsidian's hammer, and if you've seen Infinity War, you know what this can do. And yeah, this seems quite sturdy as well, not one of those floppy weapons that we got with the Ragnarok Thor. You know what I'm talking about, with this floppy hammer. I don't know why the word floppy sounds funny to me, but it is. And then also the Build-A-Figure arm, which is the last piece we need to build Cull Obsidian. So come back tomorrow and I shall be reviewing the Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure. Very excited to see what a beast that guy is. But yeah, just talking about this guy again. As I said, unfortunately, I don't have the San Diego Comic-Con version to compare him to, but I do think it is the same figure with just colour differences. Maybe he had an extra weapon, I'm not too sure. But he will sit nicely on your Asgardian sort of shelf. As I said, he's not an Asgardian, but you know what I mean when I say that. Just that sort of mystic Asgardian lore. As I said, I think in the MCU, Loki is an actual Dark Elf, isn't he? And that's why this guy's got the blue skin. And yeah, I would have preferred an MCU Malekith, but that's just me. I'm just one of those guys. But this guy does look all right. I really like the facial expression. Maybe I should show you that. As I said, if you can ignore the stupid blonde wig, even though it is accurate to the comics, I really like that head sculpt. Really evil grin. Really, really like it. So yeah, this would be a good opportunity to sort of ask the question for anyone who doesn't know. Malekith, who is he?
So, this is part of the video where we ask the question, who is he? And I try and give you a little bit of information about the character this figure is inspired by. So, Malekith. Who is he? Well, Malekith the Accused did the ruler of the Dark Elves, and he made his debut in Thor 344 in June of 1984. Malekith was taught how to use his powers by a wizard who wanted him to use his powers for good, but instead Malekith killed that wizard as he used his magic and dark elf abilities for evil. Mainly as a villain for Thor, Malekith over the years have built alliances with people like Loki, Surtur and Hela, but his greatest weapon, however, was the mystical artifact called the Casket of Ancient Winters.
There you go, so I hope that helped. Again, I do not claim to be an expert, but it is nice to have a little bit of information about the characters these figures are inspired by. Now, as you can see, I've put his sword in between his sort of bouts. So he's got two separate bouts on there. So the sword's definitely not meant to go there, but if you are like me and you'd rather your weapons be stored on your figures when they're displayed, then you can just put the sword in one of the bouts, even though from the side it just looks like he's been stabbed by his own weapon. So let's get him holding the sword again and then get him compared to some other figures from the sort of mystic world. And I'm going to bring in Odin himself. As I'm sure these two have butted heads in the comics before. This is the Odin Build-A-Figure, of course. I know a few people struggle to get hold of this guy now because those legs are impossible to get hold of. Thankfully, I got mine, and he's quite a decent sized Build-A-Figure. He's a couple years old now. Let's also bring in Thor. Now, this is Odin's son Thor, the young Thor, or the unworthy Thor, whichever one you want to call him. Again, I think this version was also in the San Diego Asgardian box set. Well, not this version, but a younger version of Thor with maybe the metal arm was in that Asgardian box set that come with the other version of Malekith. So, yeah, obviously it's probably not the best angle to show you, but as I said, this new tripod is not as good as my old one, so that's frustrating. Let's also bring in just a female, why not, round them off. Let's move them all down a little bit. Let's bring in Lady Sif. This Lady Sif is from the A-Force box set. If you haven't got the A-Force box set and you want to add some lady characters to your collection, then I would definitely recommend it. Some really good figures in that box set. And Lady Sif fits in nicely. So as I said, I do have a section on my display which is very much Asgardian. I do not have a comic version of Loki, but I do have that female Loki that come in that A-Force box set. But yeah, Malekith, as I said, fits into this world very nicely. So if you're a fan of that sort of, those type of stories, then you're going to be a fan of this. Unless you've already got the Asgardian box set from San Diego Comic-Con. If you already got that, then you probably are going to want to skip this guy and are frustrated that you need to buy him to get the Build-A-Figure piece. But yeah, that's what Hasbro do sometimes. Pros and cons for everyone. But overall, I do think this has been a really, really, really good wave. So as I said, let's bring in the other comic book figure from this wave, and it was Black Knight. So as I said, when this wave got announced, I really wanted all the MCU figures, but these two wasn't exactly my most anticipated. But now they're both out of packaging. To be fair, people, they do look really good. Two solid comic book characters for your collection, and they definitely pop on the shelf. Hasbro was just upping their game every single year. Look forward to what they reveal at San Diego Comic-Con this year. As I said, that previous one did come in its own little box set. Who knows what we're going to get this year with the 10th anniversary of the MCU. Hopefully some more box sets to be revealed. But yeah, I'm rambling. I'm going to shut up. And as I said, the next review will be the Build-A-Figure of Cull Obsidian. There is his hammer, and I've just dropped something. But as always, I ramble towards the end. But as I've said, check out the playlist. All the reviews for every other figure in this wave is on the channel right now. Go and hit that playlist, check them out, hear my opinions, thoughts, and hear my rambling about the hobby that we love. And please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. And I shall see you on the next one.